I got a message from YouTube about 3 days ago, and to paraphrase, the message went like this: because of this COVID-19 thing, they're going to be a little bit short-staffed. And in other words, things might not be as per normal. And I did notice that the last 2-3 episodes, they started out at 360p. In other words, they weren't very sharp. They did eventually work their way up to 4K, however. If you want to watch it in 4K, you might want to wait a couple hours. However, if you're watching it at all, thank you. Let's get on with it here. At the end of yesterday's episode, we had just glued this little piece of railing onto the port side of the bow. And those of you who have done this sort of thing before are probably acutely aware of how hard it is to not accidentally bend this thing over. Or maybe I should say how easy it is to accidentally do it, whichever way you want to come at it. Anyway, let's see now if we can get another piece from here to this fair lead. And as we mentioned yesterday, maybe we can later put a piece around this anchor. Well, it's not a fair lead. I should look it up and find out what that's called. Yeah, I'll look it up. Anyway, let's see what we can do. We have found it on page 271, right here. It's number 10. And it's also in another drawing. It's also number 10. Makes sense. And if we check to see what number 10 is, well, they call it side anchor hawse pipe. H-A-W-S-E. I'm presuming you pronounce that hawse, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's hawse as Haas Cartwright in Bonanza. I think it's probably hawse. Now, I could ask the computer how it's pronounced, but anyway, those of you who are in the Navy, you probably know. Yeah, a hawse pipe. Okay, I got curious. Let's check the computer.
Hawse, hawse, hawse.
Okay, now we know for sure. One of the viewers suggested that we check the World of Warships CGI to see just exactly how do they have the railing going around the anchor. Well, we have here. I don't think that this is as accurate as Stefan's book, but at least we can sort of manipulate it around and look at it from different views. Then I thought, why not check actual photos? And I found one that's pretty good, as you're going to see here in a second. Now, something we have to keep in mind here as we're putting the railings on the model, we're not really putting on railings as such, we're putting on chain that was strung between posts. Now, it wasn't the same as a passenger ship. It didn't have to be fancy. It just had to be practical. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sections is just slightly too long. But what if I take this post here and I bend it, about a third of the way this way from the end to about 70 degrees, and it would sort of turn in kind of like this, if you know what I mean. I think that might look good. It might almost look like it's supposed to be like that. Now, I was just about ready to cut that off. But what if We got a post here and a post here. What if I remove those bottom two rails? It might also look like it's supposed to be like that. Because if you remember the other day when we were looking at these things that I forgot the name already of, yeah, it looked like the railing did go right over them. So let's try that. Okay, needless to say, I have greatly reduced the strength of that section right there, so I've got to be really careful. I've already bent the top rail slightly when I was handling it there. Now let's give our end piece here a bit of a bend at about, I'm guessing, a third of the way from the post, and we'll bend it about 70 degrees. Okay, I do believe we can get it. I'm just going to rearrange everything here and get my holder downer somewhere right about here. Now, you may remember in yesterday's episode I was saying something about how I didn't want the railing to fall into the crack. But maybe I should be using the crack as a guideline. This doesn't fit quite as well as I'd hoped, but it's not bad. I don't know if you can see it from your angle, but the fence goes like this, makes a turn to the right, and then a little tiny turn this way and sort of loops back. I had to do that to either that or I was going to have to cut that post off or do something with it, so I figured roll it back. And once again, it almost looks normal. And this one does come in the right place. This one comes in the right place. So let's just adhere it down. I also made a mistake yesterday, and I said I wanted it to the top of the deck. I meant the top of the hull, but I'm sure you figured that out. Okay, just a little bit from the back here. I suppose I really should have the macro lens on for you. Now, better not do any more until I hold this post down. We'll give this a few minutes. About an hour has passed here now, I guess. We'll just move this down. All right. Okay, when I adhered that post down, I forgot to push record. See if we can get it right for this next one here. See where would be a good place to grab it. I gotta push it down and pull it back. Maybe I better push it down first if I can. Doesn't seem to want to go. There. Okay. Maybe I don't need to put any weight on that one. It's kind of wedged in place there. We'll just move over to this one right here. push this in. Just a little bit here. I can't wait too long here, it won't move. Okay, let's move down a couple more here. Maybe I better wait for that to cure. Now there's something you're going to want to keep in mind here, and that is this. There is over 100 inches of gunnel on this model. And yeah, and what have we done here? Maybe 6 inches, and that's all. So this sort of thing is going to be going on for a long, long time. Not to be discouraging or anything, but I think that's pretty good. Now I realize I possibly don't have to show the gluing down of every single post. One of the viewers suggested that perhaps I could have something in the scene all the time that would give the relevance of size. In other words, something like a ruler with millimeters marked off on it or something. That's not always convenient. You might remember that occasionally I put a dime in the scene, but it doesn't always work out. I think the best thing for you to do is to remember when you're looking at my pusher downer, you're looking at a pinhead, and it's not even all there. It's been ground down a little bit so I can slip it in between the rails. You're not looking at a spike pounded into the end of a broom handle. You're looking at a pin in the end of a 1/4 inch dowel. This is why it looks like I'm putting so much glue on. I'm actually putting on very tiny, minute amounts of glue, but those minute amounts are enlarged incredibly. It's not as bad as it looks. Well, okay, it's as bad as it looks. I know I put on too much glue. Sometimes I'll think I didn't get any glue on, and then when I actually do the editing, I'll realize I did have glue there. I didn't need to add more. Yeah. I have to be so careful not to bend these rails. If I can pull it taut just a little bit. I'll move my pliers back just a tiny bit. There we go. And the last one. There. Now I know that I had said that I should start measuring everything in metric, but you know this old tape measure of my grandfather's is just so much handier here. So, yeah, I'm going to do what I'm used to here. Okay, 9.5. Okay, we're going to have to move our little piece of paper back that we're using as a safety guard here, because we have to get up to right here. And I guess we don't need our pusher downer on that. That's cured by now. Now, how is everything going to match up when we get to this fair lead? If I can get it to set on the deck there, we can sort of kind of eyeball it. Now, this fair lead here is obviously smaller than the other one. I think if I nip the bottom two rails off of this section right here, I think that it will, even if I get this post right up to the edge here, if there's a little bit of a gap there, it might not be too noticeable. Maybe I should be using my tweezers. I'll put the macro lens on and we'll start working our way back to that fair lead. Okay, I know this doesn't look like the macro lens, but I had a couple of thoughts here, and that is, first of all, I want to make sure that I don't find that I can't get this post in behind this fair lead because I've got this part too far to the left. And also, before I get too far along right here, in the back here, where we have to take and bend our fence to go around the outside of this little platform at the end of my finger. If I remember right, that's the way it was on the real ship. There was a bit of a railing around this platform. Now, I think if I'm smart here, I'm going to adhere this one post, just the post. Now we'll stretch it out to the left and see where it matches up, if you know what I mean. Okay, about 5 minutes has passed here. Now let's stretch this out for an almost perfect fit. Maybe 1/100th of a millimeter more would have been good, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. Okay, whoops. See, maybe I'll get it right here. And then then maybe we can push that post back. Well, you know what, if I keep saying it here, why don't I just say glue? If I just glue it like that, and then we can bend it forward later. Let's just leave that. I'm going to try something a little bit different this afternoon. I'm going to do my final edit and try and get the video uploaded to YouTube just a little bit earlier than I have been. And hopefully by post time, it's going to be in some sort of high definition. And post time here in Winnipeg is 5 p.m. Winnipeg time. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.